All right, welcome back, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. We are back with another deep dive. Today, we're going to be talking about meme coins. And, I think everybody kind of knows by now that investing in meme coins is pretty risky, but this particular case really highlights all the potential pitfalls that can come from investing in meme coins, but also how social media influencers are kind of changing the landscape of the financial world. So this deep dive, the main source that we're going to be using is a class action lawsuit that was filed in the Southern District of New York back in December against the creators of this meme coin called SHAWK. But I think a lot of people are probably more familiar with the name Tuah Girl, right? So if you don't know, Tuah Girl is the online persona of Hailey Welch. She's a social media influencer, has millions and millions of followers across all sorts of platforms. And she was one of the main promoters behind this SHAWK meme coin. So the story of SHAWK is pretty wild, I would say.
They launched this thing back on December 4th, and almost immediately after launch, the thing just completely collapsed, like cratered. In fact, just hours after the launch, it had plummeted 91%. Like if you look at the charts, it's like a straight line down, and that's obviously very bad for investors, right? But I think more than the financial aspect of this story, there's a lot of really interesting, ethical questions, I guess, that this whole thing brings up. Like, what responsibility do influencers have when they're promoting investments to their followers? Are they doing their due diligence? Are they researching these projects that they're promoting, or are they just going off of vibes or whatever? And then what's the deal with Hailey Welch? Tuah Girl, whatever you want to call her. What role did she play in all this? Was she a victim? Was she complicit in some kind of scam, or is it somewhere in between? So let's get into it.
Let's talk about Hailey Welch a little bit. She's this influencer. She's got millions and millions of followers, and it's not just crypto stuff that she promotes. She promotes makeup. She promotes clothes. She promotes whatever influencers promote these days. But it seems like the people who follow her really trust her. Like they really trust her recommendations, and that's a lot of power, right? To have that many people who just like blindly trust you. And so anyway, she starts promoting this SHA meme coin, and at first it seems like it's going to be a huge success. When they launched, they had a market cap of $490 million. And just to be clear, market cap, all that means is the total value of all the coins in circulation. So that number, that $490 million, that's a measure of like how much money people put into this thing. And it seemed like it was going to go to the moon, as they say in the crypto world, right? But then it didn't. Instead, it went straight down.
91% drop in a matter of hours. And at that point, it was pretty clear that something was wrong, and that's where this class action lawsuit comes in. So this lawsuit was filed by a group of investors who lost money in the SHAWK crash, and they're alleging that the whole thing was basically a rug pull. So for those who don't know, a rug pull is basically a type of scam where the creators of a cryptocurrency will like artificially inflate the price of the coin, and then once the price is high enough, they'll just dump all their coins on the market, causing the price to crash. And they'll make off with all the money, leaving the investors holding the bag. And that's what these investors are alleging happened with SHAWK. Now, Hailey Welch, she's not named as a defendant in this lawsuit, but her involvement in the project is definitely under scrutiny. I mean, she was one of the main promoters of the coin. She was encouraging her followers to buy it, and she even participated in this like Twitter Spaces event that was supposed to be like a big celebratory launch party for SHAWK.
But that Twitter Spaces event, it did not go well. In fact, it basically turned into this like huge shouting match between Hailey and her team and like a bunch of angry investors who were demanding answers. And there was also this guy, CoffeeZilla, who was there. He's a journalist who's kind of famous for exposing crypto scams. And he was asking some pretty tough questions. And it got so bad that Hailey actually just like left the stream. She just like dipped out and then she went silent for weeks, like didn't post anything on social media, didn't respond to any messages, nothing. And that obviously just made the whole situation even worse, right? I mean, people were freaking out. They didn't know what was going on. They didn't know if Hailey was okay. They didn't know if they were ever going to get their money back. It was just a mess. But then finally, after weeks of silence, Hailey released a statement. And
in the statement, she said that she was committed to uncovering the truth about what happened with SHAWK, and she said that she wanted to hold those responsible accountable. And she said that she was going to do everything she could to help the investors who lost money. Now, a lot of people were skeptical of this statement. I mean, after all, she'd been promoting this coin pretty hard. And, some people were accusing her of being complicit in the scam. But Hailey insisted that she is just as much a victim as anyone else. She said that she had been misled by the SHAWK team. And she said that she had no idea that this was all going to go down the way it did. So, it's hard to say for sure what the truth is here. I mean, we don't have all the facts, but I think it's safe to say that this whole situation is a pretty good example of why you got to be careful when you're investing in crypto. I mean, it's a volatile market. There are a lot of scams out there, and you got to do your research before you put any money into anything. And I think this story also raises some interesting questions about the role of influencers in the financial world. I mean, they have a lot of power. They can reach a lot of people. And they can have a big impact on the market.
So I think it's important to think about, what responsibility they have to their followers. And I think it's also important to remember that, just because somebody has a lot of followers, it doesn't mean that they're an expert. So always do your own research. Don't just blindly trust what somebody tells you, even if they have a blue check mark next to their name. So yeah, that's the story of SHWK. It's a pretty wild one, and I think it's a good reminder that the world of crypto is it's a wild west out there. So be careful, be smart, and always do your research.